Good morning, student. My name is Miss Manisha Borkar, Department of Fishery Science, NES Science College, Nanded. Today we are going to start this semester first paper. The name of paper is Type Study of Valigottu, which is commonly called as a freshwater shark. Today we are seeing that the unit number 2nd, the topic is respiratory system of Valigottu. Now before going to start the respiratory system, as you know that the what is mean by the respiration. Okay, respiration is the process, there is a intake of that the oxygen and the inhalants of the carbon dioxide, okay, in the dissolved form of the water. Okay, the respiratory organs of Valigottu, which is like other fishes, are the typical aquatic organs, that is the gills. Okay, these gills is the special organ for that the aquatic animal of the fishes. Okay, they will be respired through the gills. In presence of that the gills, they respire the dissolved form of oxygen as well as the carbon dioxide in the water. The gills arises as a paired pouches from the endoderm of the pharynx of the two sides of it. They communicate with the pharynx by internal branchial apertures and open to the outside by external branchial apertures. Okay, as you know that here is the presence of the various branchial apertures of the fishes. They will open to the outside and the insides. The respiratory water current enters through the mouth into the pharynx, flows over the gills, and they expelled to the outside through the opercular silt. Okay, the dissolved oxygen of passing water current is absorbed by the richly vascular gill filaments, and the carbon dioxide diffuses out of them in the water. Okay, through that the gills. There are 4 pairs of gills, 4 on either side of the pharynx. The gill slits are usually 5 in number. Okay, these gills will be present in the paired form. Okay, they will be present in the as usual in a 5 in numbers. Okay, here the lateral view of a head showing pharyngeal and branchial chambers with lower jaw move on the side. Okay, this is the diagram of that the head showing of the pharyngeal branchial chambers. Okay, as you know that these gills will be present in the outside to the that the head region of the fish. Here this will be the big structure around it is present, that is the eye. Here's the mouth region is present, there is the various barbels are present, maxillary barbel is shown here, and in mouth region there is a lower jaw as well as the upper jaw is present, various floor of the buccal cavity, because in that mouth the water will be passes in a current form, and they will be after that on that gill seals they will be moves in the form of that the expel or inhales of the that the oxygen and expel to the carbon dioxide into the again water through that the mouth to the branchial pharynx to the that branchial cavities. Okay, here is the various this will be the gill silts. Okay, gill arch is present in the very small ear like portions, then the first gill silt, then out again outside there is the gill silt second is present, and all outer part is that is the opercular chamber. There is various gill rankers as well as the branchial chambers, and the pharyngeal chambers will be present in that the fish. There is a pharyngeal and branchial chambers of that the fish jaws. The hemibranch on the posterior surface of the first gill silt and posterior surface of the last gill silts are lost, and only 4 gills are left. The 4 branchial arches bearing the gill extend from near the auditory region of the skull just behind the eye to the base of the pharynx near the basial bone. Okay, the branchial arches bearing the gills are enclosed in a chamber is covered by a bone covering the operculum. The operculum is form of a number of bones as described earlier in the endoskeleton. Okay, we seen that the topic of endoskeleton, we are seeing the various exhale as well as the appendicular skeleton of the fishes. Okay, the branchial chamber opens to the outside by a large centric opercular opening just anterior to the pectoral fin on each side. It is through this common opening that the water expelled from the external branchial apertures is forced to the outside. Okay, as you know that water current will passes through that the various branchial apertures, it will be forced to the outside. Okay, here there is a showing that the structure of that the gills. Okay, each gill consists of a bony branchial arch as well as a fleshy portion of the branchial filaments. Okay, a bony branchial arch is formed from the striata and a hypobranchial bones of the visceral skeleton and a fleshy portion of the branchial filaments borne on the bony arch. Okay, the gill arch with its gill lamellae has the shape of the letter C. Okay, letter C. As you know that the gill will be present in the shape of that the letter C. On the outer convex surface of the gill filaments are borne the bony arch bearing the gill rankers on a pharyngeal side and the reduced gill septum with blood vessels and nerves forms the gill head. Each branchial arch bears two gill filaments consisting the two hemibranch of the hollow branch. The gill rays are partly bony and partly cartilaginous and are attached to the branchial arch of adductor muscles orally and by a ligaments aborally. Here's the diagram of a single gill arch with detail in a one hemibranch. In again there is a hemibranch structure. Okay, TS of through secondary gill lamellae. Here's the structure of that the TS of that the gill lamellae. There is a in a upper portion there is a various gill rankers are present here, gill arches. In there is a permatic two nerves are present here, interior branchial septum present, the various secondary afferent vessels as well as the gill lamellae is present here, that afferent and efferent branchial blood vessels here present. Then the posterior permatic nerves, that adductor will be present here. So in second diagram there is a TS of a secondary gill lamellae. We are seeing that the gills are present in a paired in a fine number. Here's the primary gill lamellae. It's supplied by an afferent and a efferent branchial artery. The afferent branchial divides into a series of a secondary vessels in the lamellae. The disposition of efferent and afferent vessels in the gill is such that the water flows in a opposite direction to that of the blood flowing in them. The lamellae carry the blood in a passive manner. Okay, as you seen that the diagram of that the gill structure of that the gill arches. Here's the structure of that the gills, and we shown that the what is the respiratory system of that the fish Valagot. Okay, in next lecture we are seeing the physiology of the respiration. Okay, here some points are here. The two gill rays are bound together by a strong ligaments. The gill rays have a shallow grooves on their inner side for the primary afferent vessels and several small apertures for the secondary afferent vessels. Each gill head is covered by a thick connective tissue having mucous glands, basophilic mast cells, undifferentiated connective tissue cells, and cuboidal cells. Each gill ranker is a long, slender, and toothed. It is covered from the dorsal to the ventral side of the gill arch. The branchial arch is supported by a number of branchiomeric muscles like levator, constrictor, and steno, hypodeus, hypobranchial, and adductor muscles. A primary gill lamellae is born on the gill ray, and the secondary gill lamellae from a series of transfer plates on the side of the primary. The thin walled secondary lamellae have an outer layer of respiratory epithelial cells and an inner vascular layer with scattered supporting cells called as a pilaster cells. Okay, these are the points of the structure of the gills. Here this point will be next to the that there is a next to the primary gill lamellae is supplied by a afferent and a efferent branchial artery. The afferent branchial divides into a series of secondary vessels in the lamellae, and the disposition of efferent and afferent vessels in the gills is such that the water flows in opposite direction. Okay, the lamellae carry the blood in a passive manner. Okay, these all are the structure of the gills. Okay, in next lecture we are seeing that the physiology of the